What's up, Beverly Hall family? So we had a lot of real-time footage that we wanted to share for you, but I just feel like now that we actually have our thoughts together and we actually have more of a clear idea of what's going on, we can kind of just run down what's been happening since yesterday and kind of share with you what's going on. You're gonna hear this beeping in the back because we're currently in the cardiac pediatric ICU. Braylon is in intensive care right now, so it keeps like monitoring all of his vitals. We're not really gonna put Braylon on this just because I know Braylon loves the camera, he loves to be a part of the camera, but right now he's just not himself and I don't want you guys to really see him like that. So first of all, yesterday, let's start on the 7th. We had a great day. You'll see we were making TikToks. He was dancing with us. We were doing Michael Jackson moves.
Yeah, we had a bunch of fun that day.
Then he went to bed. We all went to bed upstairs in his room, actually.
Yeah, we all slept together.
I actually ended up sleeping in. I was really tired, but Marco said that Braylon woke up super early. He was up, he was at it, he was ready to go. He brushed his teeth, he did his hair, and he was downstairs in his homeschool class by 9 a.m.
He got ready for school.
Science. Okay, so he started science class at 9 a.m. Somewhere in between 9 and 10, the class ended, and he started his next homeschool class at 10 a.m. We were all downstairs. We were all in the living room down by the kitchen.
I seen Braylon over there in the office.
So Marco went to go take his call. So I'd say about 10:55-ish, I noticed Braylon stumbling into the big area where the waterfall is. He was like eyes rolling in the back of his head. Mom, I don't know what happened. I just woke up on the bathroom floor. I'm not feeling well. My head's dizzy. I don't know what happened. I'm thinking, is he about to puke? Like, he looked like he was about to puke. Two, I thought, because we play around a lot, I'm like, are you pranking? What are you doing? But I knew something was off because his cognitive, like as a nurse, I knew his cognition was off. He wasn't as necessarily alert. Quickly, I whipped out my phone and I was like, okay, honey, tell me how you feel. What happened? Because I wanted to get what he said so I could share it with the doctors, and I did, and they were so thankful for that. He went and he stumbled over onto the couch and he's like, I don't know what's going on, and I'm like, oh my god, like something's wrong. So immediately I ran over to Marco and I was like, Marco, something's terribly off with Braylon. Like, I don't know, I didn't go check the bathroom. I knew something was off, so I just stayed with him, and Marco seen him immediately, said he needs to get to the hospital. Then I started to panic. I picked him up because he could not walk. I tried to ask him several times to walk.
He was very cold and he was like,
he was cold. His fingers were cold. His lips were blue. His face, he looked gray. Like, I have the videos, but I'm not going to share them. But he was very gray to touch and cold. Like, I didn't know if it was because he had been laying on the bathroom floor for like 20 minutes. He says he got up and he went to use the bathroom, but he doesn't remember how he ended up on the floor. We noticed he has all these bruises alongside his jawline and scratches on the whole side of his body, and we're all rushing into the Malibu. And yes, I could have called 911, but I'm telling you, where we live,
it would have took too long for any ambulance can.
It would have been too hard because the hospital is literally like 5 minutes away from our house. So we figured instead of waiting, we're just gonna go. He was bad, guys. He was bad. I knew immediately because I know that his bio dad suffers from what is called prolonged QT syndrome. It's a very rare heart condition that makes your heart not pump how it's supposed to pump. And so I knew that his dad had this, but we had Braylon checked in 2017, and they told us that there was nothing wrong with his heart.
Yes, because we wanted Braylon to play sports at this time.
And we went to go have him tested to make sure that he could play.
Yeah, we made sure that, and his heart was cleared.
But we still didn't want to risk it.
I didn't feel comfortable with it anyways. Not knowing that biological dad has these heart problems, his dad, other family members had these heart problems. I was like, I'm not about to risk it.
And I've never like experienced any issues like this with him. Like, he's never
been nothing like this ever.
But what I can say is that I know in his bio dad that he had developed it around adolescence, so Braylon's starting to become that age, and it was always a concern that you could develop it around like that preteen age. Luckily, everything happened how it did. We got him to the hospital immediately. They check his head, they did a CAT scan, they did everything because he had all these bruises and stuff. They want to make sure there's not a bleed in the head. They want to make sure there's not a bleed in the chest because we said he was frothing at the mouth, which could indicate that there was something punctured in his lungs. Everything checked out except for the EKG, and the EKG showed that prolonged interval. So now immediately I'm thinking, okay, dad had that. Maybe he's starting to develop the same thing dad had. They rushed us out of that hospital within 30 minutes because they did not have the correct cardiac equipment there. So they said, no, we got to get him out. He's a child. His heart is, there's arrhythmias is what they're called. Like it was an irregular heartbeats. So we had to hurry up, get him over here to this other specialized emergency pediatric unit. They did an EKG, and sure enough, it shows up again that he has a prolonged interval in his heartbeat, which shares that his heart will go like this whenever it stops. and then it goes like this, and it flutters so much that the blood can't get through it, which could have caused a syncopal episode, or what is called fainting, which caused him to fall while he was trying to use the bathroom and then hit his head. But honest to God, guys, I believe that the house saved his life.
Saved his life. I believe that saved his life. Thank God for this house, just to be honest.
Exactly. So you know how, like, usually when someone goes into a heart attack, they have a defibrillator or something that can shock the heart back into starting again? I think what happened, and God, by the grace of God, this happened, and there were angels all over the situation, because Braylon is very covered and highly favored. He had a heart attack or syncopal episode, and he hit his jaw, and it triggered a pain response in his body to kickstart his heart again. He was able to get up, stumble, and tell me, because we don't check on him like that when he's in homeschool. You know what I mean? Like, he's almost 13 years old. He's in the 7th grade. You give your kids their privacy. You don't always go check in every hour to see if they're okay in homeschool.
Yeah.
And so,
even though I watch every move
Marco
he
watches
makes.
them way more than I do. You know, he's just very hands-on everything.
Yeah.
But I just believe that by the grace of God, he hit his head. You know, I hate to say that, but there's no damage, no bleed, no chest bleed, nothing was punctured. His bones, everything turned out just fine. At the first hospital, they tested for a component that's called troponin, and there was nothing visible in there. There was no troponin, but then he had his blood drawn again here at this hospital, and they were like, oh my gosh, his troponin levels are elevated, which signifies either he had a heart attack or some inflammation around the heart. Something caused stress on the heart, and these little traces of troponin are becoming visible. I went to sleep on that. He ended up being admitted into the cardiac pediatric ICU unit. We slept on it. At 3 a.m. they came in and did another chest x-ray. By 4 a.m. we were getting flushes done. By 7 a.m. he was getting food and breakfast, and the cardiologist came to come in. Now we're here today where they are confirming that yes, he has overnight these heart arrhythmias that are making his heart beat irregular, and they spoke about doing blood work that would have to be sent off to California to prove that he has this very rare, deathly heart condition. Like, this is a very serious heart condition. It can kill you if you don't control it, and unfortunately Braylon may need to, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be diagnosed with it. I'm just preparing myself. I didn't have every reason in my bone in my body to think that he did. I wouldn't say it. He's most likely going to need a pacemaker. He's most likely going to need a defibrillator. He's most likely going to need a precaution in place, because not every time you have a heart attack you're going to hit your jaw and wake your body back up because you fall in the right place or whatever. But we're also trying to rule out seizures as well, because he was foaming at the mouth when he woke up. We have no idea if...
I think that come from being knocked out, babe.
As a mother, I want to cross all T's and dot all I's, so I'm making sure that they're checking him for seizure activity. They're going to go in and check his brain. I'm very, very thankful that I have a nurse that has also a 12-year-old child, and she empathizes with me, and she is trying everything she can to help get us answers, as well as the doctors that are working here. And Braylon's doing well. He's much more warm today.
Doing well, he's doing
He's
fine.
so much more stable.
He's alert. He's eating. He's talking junk, trying to crack on me.
He's been cracking on me all
thinking
morning.
I'm gonna eat this old oatmeal that I'm not gonna eat. I ain't that oatmeal. You go eat that oatmeal. How you feeling? Tell the Beverly Hall family how you feeling.
Feeling pretty good, Beverly Hall family. Very good now. I feel like I have no dizziness.
Good.
All I feel is just refreshed.
That's another thing too. I don't know if it's because he hit his head so hard, but he was puking like 6-7 times yesterday. What else did you have, Braylon? Anything that could help anybody else that might be going through this? Any like sign or something that made you think that you were going to fall?
What made me think I was going to fall is that I basically just couldn't control my body whenever I was like walking down the hall, as you remember. It was like I couldn't even like move.
That's after the fact when you gotta...
See, he literally has amnesia of the fall.
When he went to the restroom, it was over with right there.
It's just...
It's crazy weird. It was like a dream.
That's what he kept saying. He's like, I feel like I was daydreaming. Like I was walking, but I was daydreaming. He's like, I don't know if I was sleepwalking is what he said to me. He's like, but I just felt like I had a bunch of sandbags all over my body and I couldn't barely lift my head or move, and I just wanted to fall over. How are you feeling now today?
I'm having no problem. I'm feeling pretty good.
How do you feel about going through all this? Because I want you to know that this isn't your fault.
Yes.
And that there's nothing you could have done to prevent this.
Yes.
Well, I'm kind of scared and, I'm kind of scared and, I'm feeling pretty good, but yeah, that's how I feel.
You're allowed to be scared. This is scary. You're handling it far better than I could.
Better than I would.
We don't know for sure that he has prolonged QT syndrome, but all of the signs are pointing to yes, he does. So next steps are getting him on a medication that can control his heart, and seeing if the medication will do that over the next 24 hours so that he can be released, and if not, then what are the next steps? Can we do expedited screening? Can we see what kind of gene it is sooner? Can we fix it sooner so that we don't have these kind of scares again? But I have a huge surprise for Braylon when he gets out of the hospital. Huge! Him and his brothers. They're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna keep you guys updated. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.